The Game Boy Advance was my first console ever. I moved on to the PS2 and GameCube after that, but I've been a Nintendo fan since pretty much the beginning of my life. Every single console after the GameCube I've gotten on launch. So I've been a Nintendo fan for quite a long time now. So needless to say, I'm pretty disappointed with how not just Nintendo, but the entirety of the gaming industry has, well, I mean, just what it's become this day and age. So I know you're probably not hearing this the first time from me, but Nintendo's making some interesting decisions lately, and so are a lot of other companies, and they have been for a while, but it just seems like ever since that Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, everything has just kind of flown downhill. And it's such a shame because the Direct was so good, and then, you know, we saw the prices, and then everything else just kind of, it was like a carpet bomb after that. It was pretty bad. That wasn't obviously the first of the terrible gaming news. There was obviously GTA 6's prices, politics being shoved into gaming in our faces for like the past 10 years, censorship and entire games dialogue being completely changed by people. There's been a lot of issues with gaming for a while now, and I don't know why I expected better from Nintendo. Nintendo of all companies, the ones that, sue people as much as they possibly can, and yeah. I don't know why, in hindsight, I don't know why I expected better, but yeah, I guess let's just get into it. So if you haven't heard, Nintendo made an update to their EULA, their terms of service and all that great stuff. Basically, they've decided that if they found that you've pirated one of their games, or if you've modified any of their games, they can brick your console. So that's really great. So that console that you purchased legally can just be, bricked. You can't use it anymore. I can understand, like, cutting off someone's internet access if, like, you pirate one of their games. I can definitely understand that, and I think that's fair. But I think just completely bricking a console is an overreach that I don't think a company should be able to do. Maybe that's controversial to say. I don't really think it is, though. If you've purchased the console legally, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to use it. If you pirated one of their games, then you're just not allowed to use their eShop anymore or anything like that. I think that's a pretty fair trade-off. To modify games, though, I don't really understand why they would go about bricking your console over that. I mean, it is Nintendo. They're really weird when it comes to stuff like that. But if you're just like modifying character skins and, like what stages look like or music in a game, and you're not even like stealing any of their stuff, I don't know why they should have the ability to restrict your access to your own console that you bought. Anyway, there's more details on that, but that's just one issue. There's also the fact that the games are now $70 and $80 and the console itself is $450. I guess let's start with the console. So in Japan, the console's made a bit more affordable. I believe it's $330 instead of $450, which is great if you're, Japanese and you want to get the Switch 2. That's awesome. I know there's been an issue with the yen, where the yen is much weaker and it's like fluctuating and there's a whole thing like that. I'll be honest, though, I mean, the economy has, like, sucked in the US, and it's been hard for a lot of people all over the globe, so it's not just a Japanese thing. The only real difference with the console as well is that it's region-locked. So ours isn't region-locked, and it's an extra, like, around $100. So you're telling me that the console's worth $100 more because of a few lines of code? That's kind of weird. People always bring up the tariffs when it comes to the console and the games, and that would be fair enough if the digital prices didn't match the physical. For example, if tariffs affected Mario Kart World physical copies, then shouldn't the digital be 60? But no, it's still 80. Same with DK. It's 70 physical and also 70 digital. They also took into account tariffs after the prices were announced. If you remember, the accessories got increased by $10 to $15, maybe $5 on a few of them, after a few days after the prices came out. So they released the prices, then a few days after that, they said they're going to take the tariffs into account, and then they went up even more. Thankfully, The games and the console itself didn't change. It was just the accessories and the controllers and all that stuff that went up, which is still annoying, but at least the console and games weren't affected by that. So you have the prices, you have the fact that they can remotely brick your console if they just decide, hey, you've modded one of our things, goodbye. You can no longer play the thing you purchased. But there's also the fact that if you use their game chat and if you use one of their cameras, they can monitor you or save your chat data. I don't know exactly how it works, but essentially, if you're using their chat service, whether it's through the camera that they sell or through the, just a regular game chat itself, they can take that information, they can take your conversations, and they say that it's, in order to make sure that it's like safe for people so that people aren't saying the wrong things. I guess to like monitor stuff, that doesn't really feel right though. I mean, it's Nintendo, it's not like the chats are going to be open to everyone, it's usually just going to be your friends, so why should they have access to that? It feels a little bit weird. A lot of times companies do this so they can take your data and sell it off to like advertising companies and stuff like that. I don't know if they would do something like that. It's Nintendo though, so they probably would if they could. I mean, let's just go down the list here. Then there's the fact that the games themselves, not all of them, but a lot of them aren't actually on the cartridge. So you get the cartridge, you put it in the system, and then you download it after it's put on the system. So basically, once the console's online services end, you won't be able to do anything with that cartridge. I mean, it doesn't have the game on it, so it's pretty useless to have. So that's great. Just the more I look into this, the more I wonder how anyone has purchased this thing. Yet, for some reason, I heard that it's sold out in a lot of places in the US, which is... Oh, man. And other companies are already following suit. You have Microsoft just a few days after that announced that by the end of 2025, their games are also going to be $80. Not only that, but there was GTA 6 before any of this that was going to be $100. I don't know if that's set in stone yet. I think they were talking about it. But yeah, so other companies are following suit. It's not looking great. This isn't the only bad news in gaming lately. There's also the whole new thing with Sony. So Sony decided to implement a new, I guess it's kind of like a social credit system, to where if you don't act the way that they want you to act while using their game chat services, I'm not sure how far it goes, but basically if you use their services and you don't act the way that they want you to act, then I believe you're restricted from using their services. This I haven't looked too much into, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about anything with this, but I do believe they restrict some of your access to the games, or they just put a label on you. So, that's great. It just feels like these days, gaming is just... it feels like it's just getting, like, worse and worse and worse, and things just aren't really improving at all. Now you have Nintendo following suit in a lot of this stuff, and they're setting a precedent now. Now a lot of companies are going to follow in their footsteps and input a lot of this stuff. You already have Microsoft that was just waiting, frothing at the mouth. Waiting, not even a week, like a few days later, just a few days later to say like, hey guys, that $80 game thing, yeah, we're gonna do that too. One last thing I want to mention about this is the fact, and this isn't new to the Switch 2, this has been a thing for a while. When you buy a game on your PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, whatever, you don't actually own the game. You own a license to use the game. Apparently this has been a thing for a while. I haven't really followed that, I just learned that recently. But yeah, you don't actually own the games that you buy, you own a license for it. It's a license, so you don't actually own the products that you buy, it's just a license. So I guess my next question would be, well, if you don't own the things that you buy, is piracy actually stealing them? Because how can you pirate something that you can't own in the first place? Yeah, I don't know. How does any of this affect the channel though? So I usually play through games before I make videos on them. I like to be as informed as possible when making like a lore video or a theory, because it's important with those types of videos that you kind of know all of the source material, obviously. So I like to play through everything just to make sure I got all the details, and I usually only cover series that I've played before by myself, so that I already know what I'm talking about, but I still play it through again anyway, just to make sure there's nothing that I missed out on. Of course, I use like Wiki and stuff like that to read up on some things that, just to make it easier for myself, but I usually try and play through the games. The thing is, I won't be getting a Switch 2. Not until some of this changes or something happens, man, because I don't know if I can support this, honestly. There's just so many things that I look at it and it's like, I feel like I have to vote with my wallet here, and it doesn't feel right to support Nintendo when they're doing stuff that's just blatantly anti-consumer. As for the channel, obviously there's that new Kirby update coming out for Forgotten Land. I won't be playing through it. I'll probably still be making content on it. I'll have to watch a playthrough and read about what goes on in the game rather than, playing it myself, which is unfortunate. I'll still do my due diligence and research and watch as much stuff as I can, but I won't be playing through it. I guess in a way that's sort of hypocritical because you're making content on stuff that you're not trying to support. So in a way that is kind of supporting it, I guess, even though you're not like paying for it yourself. But I mean, I still enjoy the franchises. I still enjoy the stuff that they make, and all of what I said before doesn't discount the fact that Nintendo games are still good. They're still good. They're great quality. They're amazing games. Just the problem that I have with them is the company, Nintendo. I'll still be making videos on Nintendo stuff. Maybe I'll put more of a spotlight on some other franchises and some other games like I did recently with Mega Man. I'll still be doing the whole Kirby thing, but it's disappointing. It's disappointing. I hope it changes. I would like to, be a proud Nintendo fan. I would like to say that, the products that they make are great, and also, the company's got some great policies. They're not trying to just completely screw over the consumer. That would be great to say, but they're constantly proving us wrong. There's also that whole, Palworld thing where they're suing, I think the company's called Pocket Pair. Yeah, they're making a lot of strange moves. Well, I guess it's not strange when you look at it from a corporate standpoint. Of course, they would want to do stuff like that. Yeah, it's just disappointing. So, I won't be owning a Switch 2, at least for a while. I won't be playing through the games. I'll probably cover some of the lore and theories surrounding some of the games, because I'll still be following closely. I'll be following the franchises closely, so I'll know what's going on. I just won't be playing through them myself, so I have to do my due diligence when it comes to learning about the stuff in the game. But yeah, I mean, that's really all my thoughts on the Switch 2. I think it's messed up. I think it's really screwed up what Nintendo's doing, and really what the rest of these companies are doing. It's anti-consumer. All of them are, really. I'll do my best to still cover their games when I find something interesting. I'll probably give more of a spotlight to other franchises as the year progresses. I would like to get through to that part 2 for the Sonic timeline, maybe by the fall or the winter. We'll see. I have a lot of projects lined up. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about the whole Nintendo Switch 2 thing, and really all the stuff with Sony and Microsoft. So comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about all this stuff, and maybe there's stuff that I don't know about that's been happening. So yeah, leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoy stuff like this, and subscribe.